Welcome back, everyone. This is Reese, and in our last lesson, we learned how to evaluate expressions. Today, we're going to learn how to further simplify expressions, and we're going to use two important algebra skills. One, which is combining like terms, and two, which is the distributive property. Once you master these two skills, you'll be ready to start solving equations. So, what are like terms? Well, like terms have the same variable and are raised to the same power. An example could be x and 2x. These are like terms because they have the same variable and they're raised to the same power. 2x squared and 5x squared. These are like terms because they're raised to the same power and they have the same variable. Okay, here's the question. Let's identify the like terms and simplify this. We have x and we have y. They need to be the same variable for them to be like terms. And a good analogy I give is if you have two red balls and you have two white ones, would you say that you have four red balls or four white balls? No, because they're not the same, right? We can't combine two things that are different. And that's the same thing with x and y. Imagine x is the red and y is the blue, right? So here we can only say we have two red and two white, correct? So let's now go back to our question. 3x plus 5x plus 2y. And the like terms here would be 3x and 5x. So if we're combining like terms by addition or subtraction, we're just going to add coefficients. So this is 3 plus 5, which gives us 8. So we have 8x. The 2y, there's nothing else that adds to y, no other like term. So we keep that one as 2y. So our answer would be 8x plus 2y. Here's another example. We have to identify the like terms and simplify. So for the like terms, we know we have and then we also have B and B, right? So the first thing I would want you to do in such a case is to group the like terms. And what do I mean by group the like terms? I want you to put those numbers with a as a variable together and those numbers with b as a variable together. So I would write this as 7a plus 5a plus 3b plus 2b. The reason I did this is because now we have a and and b, which is a lot easier to work with, right? So we know our like terms are 7a and 5a. The other set of like terms, 3b and 2b. So if we solve this, 7 plus 5, because we're only adding the coefficients of those variables, that gives us 12. So this is 12a plus 3 plus 2 is 5. So that's 5b. And this would be your answer. Here's another example. We're going to be combining multiple terms. And here you see we have 4x plus 3 plus 7x minus 5. I would like you to try and solve this first and let me know if you get the right answer. First thing we do is combine the like terms. I see we have x here and we have x here. So we have two terms with x. I'm going to combine them. I'll put them together. And then we have 3 and 5. These are two terms that don't have a variable with them. They're not multiplied by a variable. So these are also like terms. Let's put them together. So it have 4x plus 7x plus 3 minus 5. Now that we have them in pairs, we know that x's are together and those without x's are together. We can now solve. 4 plus 7 would give us 11. It's 11x. 3 minus 5 gives us minus 2. So that would be minus 2 there. And that would be our answer. Another example would be 6y plus 8 plus 9y minus 3. This is a very similar question to what we just did. So I'd like you to try and solve it and let me know if you get the right answer. Okay, like before, we will group the like terms. So I know we have 6y and 9y. So 6y plus 9y. We have 8 minus 3, so plus 8 minus 3. 6 plus 9 is 15. So this would be 15y plus 8 minus 3 is 5. That's plus 5 there. And this is your answer. So here's another question. We have 14a minus 5 plus 6a plus 8. Like we did in the last question, we're going to group the like terms. I see 14a and 6a. These two are like terms. Minus 5 plus 8 are also like terms. So let's group them together. 14a plus 6a minus 5 plus 8. Now that we have them in groups of like terms, we can now solve them. So 14a plus 6a would give us 20a, right? 14 plus 6 is 20. Minus 5 plus 8 gives us plus 3, and that would be your answer. Now we're going to look at the distributive property. What is the definition of distributive property? Distributive property is basically when a number is outside the parentheses, we multiply it by everything inside the parentheses. Let's get into some formulas just to understand what's actually going on. So the formula is if we have A outside the parentheses, we have B plus C in the parentheses. Distributive property means that in order to open these parentheses to get rid of them, would have to multiply A times B and A times C, which gives us AB plus AC. Let's work on some examples and hopefully you will understand this topic a lot more. First example is 3 in parentheses x plus 4. We're going to use this formula to try and solve our problem here. Let's begin. 3 times x would be 3x plus will give us 12. So that's 3x plus 12. And that would be your answer. Here's another example. I'd like you to work on this one. 5 in parentheses y minus 2. So we're going to do the same thing. 5 times y, 5 times 2. In fact, here's not 2, it's negative 2. So 5 times y gives us 5y. 5 times 2 with the negative would be negative 5 times 2. And this would give us 5y minus 10. And that would be your answer. Now the question. 4 in parentheses a minus 3. Let's work on this one. We're going to multiply the 4 times the a and 4 times the 3. So 4 times a gives us 4a minus 3 times 4 because we're multiplying 4 times a and 4 times negative 3. 4 times 3 is 12, negative 12. So we have 4a minus 12. That would be your answer. Okay, let's work with numbers that have a negative. Students often make mistakes here. Hopefully, with this video, you'll be able to understand how to properly distribute negatives. So, first one is minus 2 in parentheses y plus 7. How do we solve this? Remember, we're taking what's outside the parentheses and we're multiplying it by everything inside. This is the same as having minus 2y, minus 2 times y, plus minus 2 times 7. So 7 times negative 2, right? So this is minus 2y. 7 times 2 is 14. Positive times negative is negative. So negative 14. And that is your answer. I'd like you to try the second one. Minus 4a minus 5. Give that a try and let's see if you get the right answer. We do the same thing. Minus 4 times a minus 4a minus 5 times minus 4. So we have minus 4a here. Negative times negative is positive. 5 times 4 is 20. That is your answer. How about minus 5, x minus 3? Well, minus 5 times x is minus 5x. Minus 5 times minus 3, negative times negative is positive. 5 times 3 is 15. And that is your answer. Here are some questions. We have to simplify these terms. And first one is 3x plus 2 plus 4. So first things first, we want to open up the parentheses. 3 times x would be 3x plus 3 times 2 would be 6 plus 4x. 3x and 4x are like terms, so we combine them. 3x plus 4x plus 6. 4 plus 3 is 7, so we get 7x plus 6. That is your answer. Let's look at the second one. Again, we have to open up the parentheses. So we have 2 times y is 2y plus 2 times 4 is 8 and plus 5y. 5y and 2y are like terms, so we'll group them. We say 2y plus 5y plus 8. 5 plus 2 gives us 7. So we have 7y plus 8. And that is your answer. If you found this helpful, make sure you hit subscribe and join our school community for more lessons, practice, and support. The link is in the description below. See you inside.